Okay, students, you can take a seat. Sit up straight, get all organized there so you look real good for all the pictures. Great. Welcome on behalf of the Ohio State University College of Optometry. I am Carla Zadnick, and I'm privileged to be the dean of the college, and I'm especially grateful for this wonderful day. This has become I can't say this to the class of 2018, but really the highlight of the spring season at the College of Optometry is the white coat ceremony. The class of 2018 graduated last week. I do want to introduce you to, I'll more about them later, but I'll introduce you at least to the dignitaries that we have joining us from the optometric community. Dr. Vince Driggs, who's president of the Optometry Alumni Society, and Dr. Dave Anderson, who's president-elect of the Ohio Optometric Association. Most importantly, welcome parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings, spouses, partners, children, and friends of the class of 2021. Given that there's a certain particular special group in the audience who's given up part of their weekend to be with us, so if you are a mother, would you please stand? Okay. That is a good-looking group of dedicated women. And most importantly, the class of 2021. We honor you today. Please stand and be recognized again. We are so proud of you today. Before we go much further, there's somebody else I owe a debt of thanks, and that is to our sponsor, Dr. Robert Newcombe, but he really goes by Dr. Buckeye Bob Newcombe, and there he is. Please give him a round of applause. He is an emeritus faculty member who founded this event 17 years ago. He just thought we weren't recognizing the kind of accomplishment that you've all achieved in the past year, and he not only started the program when he was faculty member, but quickly provided the endowed funding to sponsor the event. So we owe a debt of gratitude both for his creativity and his monetary contribution today. So students, when you land where you're eventually going to practice, 3 years or more from now, that is, you'll maybe start with a job and then find out where you really want to end up. If you're in Ohio, you will get to benefit from the extraordinary close relationship between the Ohio State University and the Ohio Optometric Association. Dr. Anderson is here representing the OOA, and if you migrate to another state, the Ohio Optometric Association will provide you with an introduction to organized optometry in that new state, but I can guarantee you'll miss the Ohio Optometric Association at least a little because of that close connection you'll develop with them over the next 3 years. And no matter where you end up practicing, though, you will become, 3 years from now, an alumnus of Ohio State with the potential to be a member of our Optometry Alumni Society led by Dr. Driggs. This venerable institution, there are 550,000 living Ohio State alumni. So it's one thing here on campus as you walk, if you yell out OH, you get an IO back. But I've had that happen at the top of the Empire State Building and in the airport in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So you will be able to find your Ohio State kin no matter where you travel or end up living. So your optometry connection, the other thing that's interesting to me is not only you have this alumnus connection with Ohio State, but optometry, we are a little tiny town with all the benefits that come from that. So if you ended up in a country and went to an optometrist store and said, I don't have a place to stay tonight, they would welcome you with open arms. So figure you're joining two really unique communities as you spend your time with us. This white coat ceremony signifies these students' transition from coursework primarily rooted in the basic health sciences to their clinical curriculum. Having said that, though, they've already begun direct work with patients during their first year here. That means they probably already have stories to tell. Family and friends, you may have already heard some of them, but I know students that you've observed all HIPAA privacy regulations in doing so, and I'm sure they'll enjoy telling you about their patient care adventures going forward. Did I mention how proud we are of them and how proud they should be of themselves? They have worked so hard to gain admission to this class, and I will bet they celebrated with family and friends when they made their commitment to Ohio State Optometry. Recently, I happened to be walking by the admissions office when I heard Justin Grice speaking with an admission on the phone for next year's class, and I happened to be walking by, and he said, I heard him say, "Do you want to talk to the dean?" And so I get to have the experience of her hearing for the first time that she was admitted to the class, which was very exciting. So I can only imagine the experiences all of you have had. Since they were admitted, they have worked long hours. I'll bet they've skipped a little bit of sleep now and there, just a little, tolerated the heat of summer and the cold of winter, but that makes them sound like they deliver the mail, so maybe that's not quite the right analogy. And they have impressed all of us at the college with their knowledge, ability, tenacity, and ability to work as teams. They participated in our Socialize program, which is something, I think you're the fourth class we've done that with. They were assigned to groups of 8 or 9 people, and then they met every few weeks with a volunteer faculty advisor. I figured when we first started this program, maybe they'd grab a quick bite once in a while and talk about their successes and maybe their concerns and issues with faculty member and their colleagues. They did a lot more than that. This class in particular went to escape rooms. Let's see, they hiked, they went to movies, they watched classmates beat the dentistry students in the intramural basketball championship final. And I heard that there were a lot of optometry students in attendance and none from dentistry. So you were for sure the home team, and they brought home the victory. And they also ziplined at night. So family and friends, if you haven't heard about the Socialize activities, you're thinking, well, we will have to learn more about that at dinner tonight. Be sure and ask. I also know that in those groups, which we formed for them, they did not form, they met classmates from other parts of this relatively small class with whom they might not have crossed paths. So I think it strengthened the already strong bond this class possesses. They are the best of the best, and we cannot truly express to you, their friends, their families, and member of their individual fan clubs, how delighted we are that you have shared them with us for the past year and the next 3 to come. So next on our program, we will hear from Bad Habits. These gentlemen are 3 of the members of Bad Habits, which is a band that got its start at an optometry talent show in 1987. They're all optometrists. The band has performed across the country at clubs and at optometry and private events. And whenever they're on the stage, people know Ohio State Optometry is in the house. Today, our alumni members of the band, Drs. Pat Dolemeyer, Tony Fenton, and Michael Reyes, will entertain us. Join me in welcoming Bad Habits, the eye docs of rock.
All right. Thank you, Dean. Now, Dean, do you know how we got our name Bad Habits?
No.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Did she ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were back in optometry school, and we thought it would be cool if we were like just jamming in the house, his house, and we thought it'd be cool if we named ourselves Bad Habits because we were out like playing in a rock band instead of staying up at night studying. So anyway, the name stuck, and 31 years later, we're still at it. And then my advice to you, I'd like to give some advice to the students. Choose your friends wisely, because you never know, you might be stuck with them for the next 31 years. I didn't know, who knew? These guys, anyway. So, but we wanted to do a dedication song to you, and I'd like to say that we wrote this song for you, but we didn't. Journey did. But it still has some inspiration that I think you'll know and enjoy.
Small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train. in a smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. Their shadows touching the night. Streetlight people living this divine emotion, hiding somewhere in the night. Working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill. Paying anything to roll the dice just one more time. Some will win, some will lose. Some are born to sing the blues. Well, the movie never ends. It goes on and on and on and on. Up and down the boulevard, their shadows dancing in the night. Streetlight people living this divine emotion, hiding somewhere in the night. Y'all get to sing now. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Streetlight people. Come on, you can sing with us. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Streetlight people. Don't stop.
Thank you. Good night.
Every time I hear them perform, I always wonder whether their patients actually know that their optometrists are that cool. I doubt he wears that guitar strap and that's where they measure their visual acuity, for example. Tough act to follow, but I know we've got it. They've got it in them. Our first speaker, just to give some words of wisdom and perspective to the students, is Dr. Vince Driggs. He is a clinical associate professor at The Ohio State University College of Optometry and president of the Optometry Alumni Society. Many of you will experience a rotation with Dr. Driggs. Some may even go on to have him train them as a resident because he is one of the dedicated optometrists that works at the Columbus Veterans Administration Medical Center. And he does that, I think, because he takes great pride in taking care of those who have served our nation, but he also takes great pride in his education of a generation of future optometrists. So Dr. Driggs, if you join me on the stage.
Good afternoon. I appreciate the kind words. I see I've once again sort of inherited the speaking position of death, which is trying to follow bad habits and okay, how do I follow that? So as an aside, I will date myself just a little bit, and I would mention, I'm almost afraid to say this, I was at their first concert. They look older than I do. And there was a student talent show at Drake Union, which no longer has a performance hall in it, to the best of my knowledge. They didn't win. The judges were quite correct. But I will say this, a couple weeks later, I saw their second concert when they somehow convinced the president of Epsilon Psi Epsilon, which is our local optometry service fraternity, to be the house band for a night. I'm assuming the conversation went something along the lines, hey, why don't you pay us to be the house band? the president, one of their classmates, probably broke up laughing and sort of went, you know what? Well, you're members of the fraternity, we'll give you free beer. Free beer? We'll play. Well, they went out and learned another 4 or 5 songs, got a little bit better at the ones they had. Everybody there had fun. And then over the course of the next couple of years, while students and afterwards, they kept learning songs. They started playing at what could be politely called dive bars on High Street. And I think that's a fair term considering those bars haven't been refurbished in 30 years. The buildings were knocked down. However, they did a lot. They got better. They kept improving until you see what you see tonight. So I would just note that with a lot of diligence and a lot of innovation, you can follow your dreams while still pursuing your dreams. And I never thought 30 years ago I'd be using bad habits as a parable for success, especially after having them in class when I was a professor there. But I'll also say that all 3 of them, I know that there were nights that they probably had 1 hour sleep, but they never once used it as an excuse. They never once came to me and said, hey, listen, can I take my test on a different day? Can I do this on a different time? They just showed up and did a good job on that also. And again, sort of another lesson, figure out a way to do it. With that, I want to first and most importantly extend my welcome and congratulations to the class of 2021. And congratulate each and every one of you for the many successes and the hard work that brought you to this point in your career. This is your day to sit back, enjoy, relax, and even revel in your accomplishments a little bit. It's a day for you to just really enjoy everything you've done in the past year and look forward to the next 3. The college has almost 3,000 living alumni across our country. We have alumni practicing in almost every state in the country, save 1. For the trivia buffs out there, that would be Mississippi. So if any of you are thinking about heading south in about 3 years, I think we can fit you up with a whole suitcase load of Ohio State paraphernalia. Let them know where you're from. And I understand Tupelo is beautiful this time of the year. We also have optometrists in 4 different countries, UK, Canada, India, and Puerto Rico. And I'm surprised we don't have anybody in Australia as a graduate, given the amount of research in optometry they do there. We have alumni at the highest positions in both research and industry all over the country. And we're very proud to say at Ohio State alumni serving as deans of at least 4 colleges and universities of optometry and the associate dean at a 5th. We're waiting for the coup d'etat at that particular school. The Alumni Society has long worked with the college for a number of student-oriented events, helped sponsor or work together on things like the Op1 Welcome Dinner, Convocation, the thing you're looking forward to in about 3 years, this night. In the past, we've done some work on refurbing the student lounge, student study areas, and we've helped to fund a scholarship to defray the cost for 1 student for MBOs that you have coming up here in the future. In addition, on this very special weekend, I would like to welcome all the parents in the audience, and especially the mothers. And I would add to that also the single fathers who also had the duty of being moms and dads for some of the students up here. As an aside, I would note that I come from a double family. So I'm quite lucky that I now have 4 parents that I'm very happy and do everything they can for me. But there was about 2.5 to 3 years when I was in 4th grade where myself and my 2 younger sisters were raised by my then single mom after my parents divorced. And I know that I can never really, truly repay all the sacrifices that she made for me and my sisters to help me get to where we are today. In fact, my primary goals and hopes going forward, I probably was a weird kid. I was never one that would sit around and go, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be president. I want to be a star entertainer. I want to be the next, Bill Gates or whatever. All I ever wanted to do was do something that would make my parents, especially my mom, proud of what I did. And to this day, I think that's a pretty good goal for every day. So if you do something every day, even however small, where you think, I think my parents would be pretty proud of me, you're going to go a long, long ways in this world. With that, I'd like to direct a few thoughts and tidbits to the class of 2021 as Dr. Zadnik was saying, I work with a number of students and residents, so recent graduates of the college. So I sort of asked them if they could go back to this ceremony, what would they tell themselves? Was there something they thought that, that was a really good idea, or something that was going, I'd like to do that differently? And I got a lot of comments and a lot of ideas, and after all that, I was somewhat flabbergasted to when by far the most common responses that I got centered around one thing: laundry, as in how to do it. And to this, it's not what I expected, but they asked me to pass this along. So as your public service announcement for the day, just a couple of things. By definition of the ceremony today, white coat ceremony, your coats are bright white. Your remainder of your laundry is not. Therefore, some of the things that were recommended, because they didn't do it and they suffered the consequences, especially the first time or two, it is probably not a good idea the first time you wash your white coat to mix it with your Ohio State Buckeye Scarlet jersey and t-shirt collection, unless you want to have the only tie-dyed, slightly mauve, non-white coat in the clinic. I would also recommend, because some of my students told me the patches on those may or may not be color fast, so the first time you do it, cold is really good. You can warm them up later. And the last one, and I don't know where this came from, but it was by far the leading answer. They just looked at me and said, yes, wash them. And I'm going, you mean, yeah, we had that's far enough. Don't want to know anymore, but please, sometime during the next 3 years. On a more professional note, as all of you are discovering, and maybe new coming in, but you're certainly discovering as you work your way through the school, ours is a very wonderful profession that there are a number of different ways to practice and a number of different places you can concentrate your practice. Maybe your interests are pediatrics and children's vision, binocular vision care. Maybe it's advanced contact lens fittings and skill. You want to be able to fit the contact lenses to the people who have never been able to wear contact in their life, and you want to make it work for them. Maybe as our country gets older, you would rather specialize in something like low vision services to work with the visually impaired and legally blind in this country to really improve their day-to-day activities and improve their quality of life. I'm lucky at the VA that we have a couple of specialists that do that, and it's wonderful to see some of the things that they can do and working with them, and some things that I might think that, well, that's not that big, but it really is in terms of quality of life. Maybe it's medical optometry, my chosen side, where I'm now in the VA and before I was with the disease clinic at the college. And I would certainly encourage you to pursue whatever concentration you think your interests or where your interests lie and where you'd like to end up, but with one gigantic caveat or asterisk to that. Don't put the blinders on while you do that. Sort of be aware of everything else that is out there in the periphery. Right now, you may be thinking, I really love working with kids. I really want to do binocular vision. I am not looking forward to that VA rotation when it comes up. That's just not my cup of tea. You may find out you also like that. And you may find another subspecialty along the way that either you hadn't looked at all or really had no interest in, and yet that may end up being your chosen field. One of our residents this year tells a story of how she had a pediatric practice picked out that she wanted to go into. And she loves working with kids, and she had a couple of practices already. She was interviewing for him. Her last rotation before applications were due was a VA rotation that she admittedly didn't want to go to. It just wasn't her interest. We all have our specialties. A year later, she's the resident at the Columbus VA and loves it, and she will probably be full-time on staff next year. So don't close in your blinders going through it. I would also encourage you while you're doing that, take advantage of all of the resources of this great university, especially the college. I would tell you that the most widely underutilized resource on any campus are office hours. Take time to go up and outside of class a little bit. Maybe it's about class, maybe it's just about opportunities. Take time to work with some of your instructors. That's really why they're here, and actually I qualify that. That's why they want to be here. I can tell you, they may be working on their next text or next article, they may be working on classes or grading papers. I can tell you from experience, they would much rather sit down with you, and if it's classroom problems, fine. If it's just something, an area of interest and you want to know what the possibilities are, they would far rather do that. Give them opportunity. They're a phenomenal resource for your clinic setting. On a final note, I would just say I am a big believer in the work hard, play hard theory of optometry school, probably best espoused by the three guys that just walked off stage, because I can tell you they definitely played hard. But they also worked their butts off. And they're all well respected and phenomenal optometrists also. So embrace your challenges over the next couple of years. Put the time and effort in you need to be the best optometrist you can, but also take time to step back and take a little time for yourself. Or as I would put it, enjoy the ride. It's a great 3 years coming up, even with all the work. Congratulations on where you are right now and on your accomplishments. Good luck on the next 3 years.
Thanks very much, Vince. I like the laundry advice especially, so I'm sure the students were listening to that. Maybe the faculty as well. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Dave Anderson. He is president of the Ohio Optometric Association, and I have it on good authority that a few days ago he celebrated one of those big 0 birthdays, and so his wife, Dr. Stacy Anderson, and son, Eric Anderson, and parents, Mike and Brenda Anderson, are all here, and I'd love to have you welcome them with a round of applause. Sometimes I feel bad when we bring sort of our alumni and our visiting dignitaries and think that they're spending time away from their families, so this worked out great, Stacy, to just bring everybody along. Dave Anderson is an active member of the community and is well respected as the president of the Ohio Optometric Association, advancing our practice with his blood, sweat, and tears every day. He's also got a really innovative practice, and he could talk to you students in the future about how he found his way to the way he practices and the enrichment he gets from being an optometrist. So without further ado, Dr. Dave Anderson.
You might be wondering, it's not 40 or 50 or 60, as Mike said, it's 20. No, I kid. Thank you, Dean Zadnik. I appreciate once again to be here. I was able to be here last year and speak to last year's class, the class of 2020, as they received their white coats. And I love the venue. I love everything I see, all your parents, especially the mothers. And such a big deal this is, and it should be, because as Dr. Driggs mentioned, there's a lot of hard work. As Dr. Zadnik said, this is a really hard year. I mean, how many of you knew that you would study as hard as you did? Probably none of you. How many of you knew that Dr. Early would tell so many lies that he tries to convince you are true about how to make a sandwich or something silly like that? You know, when I had the opportunity to speak with you as you started your first year back in August, I think, I was amazed as you stood up around the room, all the different things that you did coming into optometry school. Champions in college in athletics, and obviously we have a good basketball team. So there's some really amazing things that you all have done, and over this past year, you've even gone a step further. As far as what I represent and being the president of the Ohio Optometric Association, it really has to do with one thing. It has to do with, can you practice in the way that you want? You learn a lot, both from all the professors and all of the patients and all the different rotations at the VA, a lot of different things that you can do. But the real question is, are you allowed? And us at the OOA, we advocate for the ability to take care of those patients. The person that comes to see you, and you know darn well you can help them with that contact lens, it'd be a shame if you weren't allowed in the state that you were practicing in. And whatever kind of mode of practice, whether it be, again, binocular vision or low vision, some of those things they're legislated, and unfortunately that's the reality. But the great news is we're here advocating, and so are you by all being members. And you may or may not know that, and I think that you know that the OOA is definitely a big part, and so will every state be in the future. And as Dean Zadnik mentioned, you're going to miss us because we really care about you, and we really care that you're able to continue not only what you're learning, but practice at the highest level that you're able to do in whatever state it is. When I did speak to you, you might remember a story that I told about a patient that had a lot of different issues: chronic styes, glaucoma, cataracts, and recently macular degeneration. It probably didn't mean a whole lot to you, but now it does, because you're going to put on a white coat and you're going to be able to treat some of that. You're going to be able to be the first person helping diagnose some of this. And why that really matters is again, you learn a lot, but you want to care for the patient. And what we do in the association is exactly that, helping you get to that point. So now's the fun part, right? You guys learned a lot, you studied a lot, and you're ready to go see some patients. You probably all purchased some diagnostic tools, like something you don't know how to use called a retinoscope. An ophthalmoscope, you've already looked in your family members, classmates, probably your pet's eyes to see what they look like. But when you put the white coat on, it's a little different. At that point, you become somebody that can help, somebody that can take care of your patients. And at that point, when you put on that white coat, there's a lot more expected of you in your community, and be it with maybe your patients, somebody who wants to jump into medical school or any kind of medical profession. You're going to be expected to give them advice, give them some feedback on what it takes, how much work, how much effort that it takes to get to that point. You're going to be expected to make some impacts in lives all around you. And I ask of you, not only be the leaders that you are, but be the person that's counted on in your community and in your area as the expert on eyes, on the expert of how to be professional. And think of it as not only your job to care for patients, but to, again, be a leader in your community. And as you look forward to the next 3 years, there's a lot of stuff you're going to go through. A lot of it you're going to be really surprised by, some of the impacts you might make on people around you. But know that you're going to have all the skills, you're going to have all the knowledge, even if you don't listen to everything Dr. Early says. You're going to know how to do this because we are the best school in the land, as well as having the best professors in the land. And I'm sparing the mothers, of course. Just know that you're going to be ready. When you put that white coat on, there's a reason you're at this stage right now, because you've earned it. So congratulations to all of you. I wish all of you good luck. I agree with the sentiment. Enjoy, take advantage of the resources, have a great time, win more basketball championships, and really have a wonderful time in these next 3 years. But stay focused on engagement in your profession, bettering your community. And again, thank you for allowing me to speak today, and good luck to all of you, and congratulations.
Thanks, Dr. Anderson, very much. So before we get to the main event, it's coming, I promise, I would ask that the faculty and staff that are in attendance please stand so that people can see who's, what do I want to say, educated these students over the past year. Please stand. Thank you all for coming, and especially thanks to staff for organizing the event. So the actual white coating today, somebody's got to help them on with these coats, will be accomplished by 2 dedicated faculty members of the Ohio State Optometry team. These 2 men care about these students' achievements almost as much as the students themselves do. And it's fair to say that the 2 of them compete with each other a little bit because they are both first-year instructors. So Dr. Early always says that the students say, Dr. Muty and bow or some genuflect or something. And Dr. Muty says the students refer to Dr. Early in this way. So I don't know which of those is better, but they seem to think that's an important distinction. It gives me great pleasure then to introduce my valued colleagues and these students' beloved teachers, Mike Early, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, and Don Muty, E.F. Wildermuth Professor in Optometry. They're deeply honored to have been selected by the class to help them with their coats today. So before we get started, though, let me outline a couple of logistical details for the audience. First, if you are an optometrist in the audience who's related to one of these shining faces and you're going to help your person put on his or her white coat, plan on moving to an aisle seat and coming forward just before your student is about to come up and receive the coat. So, well, that's how we'll accomplish that. I think you received information about that before. Second, all of you, I want you to look at these students. Really look at them. They're your children, your nieces and nephews, your friends, your partners, your spouses, your siblings. You've known them for years, some of you since the day they were born, and their sweet faces are completely familiar to you. But then I want you to look at them at the end of this ceremony. Their eyes are going to shine a little brighter. They're going to stand up a little taller, and they'll clutch that coat around them as they settle into it as if it's their professional superhero cape. In short, they'll never look quite the same to you again. They'll be confident, poised, and the ultimate professional as they embark on the next phase of becoming a doctor of optometry. So a few weeks ago, I asked the students to write a brief message they wanted me to read on their behalf during the ceremony. Some of them found it hard. They said, I have to write about myself. I don't really want to do that. It occurred to me that maybe next year I should have you write about someone else in the class. Would be a little more fun. You wouldn't know what was going to be said about you. But they soldiered on and they wrote me wise and wonderful words for you to hear. I'm sure their words will create smiles and tears. Listen for references to caffeine. There are some significant pet references. But most importantly, what you will hear, family and friends, is that they love and appreciate you. All right, let's roll. First, you want the first row up?
Megan Arns from Fort Laramie, Ohio.
Megan writes, I wouldn't have made it through this year without all the new friendships and memories I've made and the support of my family. Oh, and coffee. Lots and lots of coffee. Helen writes, Dear Sirak, Yeshwelaman, Ebenezer, and Tinsay, it means the world to have you here today because without your support, encouragement, and love, I would not be where I am.
My name is Cassie Allen, and I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Cassie writes, I would like to thank my family for their endless prayers and support, my roommates for keeping me laughing, especially during the toughest weeks, and my boyfriend Nick for being my rock and instilling courage into heart when I needed it most. I would not have made it here without my people and my God. Hope those will work.
I'm Bethany Army, and I'm from Van Wert, Ohio.
And Bethany was assisted by her uncle, Dr. Dennis Miller, and she writes, my family and friends deserve credit for my success this past year. A special shout out goes to my brother and sister-in-law for letting me crash at their place for my first year of school.
Nikki Abel, Plainfield, Illinois.
Nikki writes, Mom and Dad, I will never be able to thank you enough for your endless love and support. You are my inspiration. Ashley, Natalie, and Danny, thank you for always pushing me to my limits and for being my best friends for life. To my roommates, no one can do this alone, so thank you for all the shared advice and laughter. And thank you to the rest of my family for always believing in me. I thank God every day for each of you.
My name is Audrey Bass, and I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
See, that white coat job isn't easy as you think it is. Aubrey writes, I want to first thank God for the countless blessings and opportunities he has given that I may reach this goal. I'd like to thank my husband, Malcolm, for all his love, support, and late-night trips to Jenny's ice cream parlor. Thank you to my parents for reassuring me that all things are possible with Christ and for giving the love and support I needed that only parents can give. Thank you to my 6 siblings and their children who are my absolute best friends. We made it, guys. There's not enough time to list all those that pushed me along, but thank you to all my extended family, friends, faculty, staff, classmates, and peers. This year has been amazing.
Thank you.
My name's Abigail Beal. I'm from Willoughby, Ohio.
And she was assisted by her father, Thomas Beal. And she writes, I couldn't possibly be here without my parents, family, fiance, newfound friends, and pup, Rosie. Your constant love, laughter, and support means the world to me. Thank you so, so much.
Kristen Vissig from Loveland, Ohio.
Kristen writes, this day is a celebration of a dream I've had for more than 7 years, but it pales in comparison to the love and support I've received from family and friends. Praise God and go Bucks.
I'm Lindsey Brooks from Winchester, Kentucky.
Lindsay writes, I couldn't have made it through this year without my loving husband, family, and newfound friends accompanying me on this wonderful journey.
Kirsten Canini from Carroll, Ohio.
She writes, I would like to thank my family for their constant love and support, even when I'm a little unpleasant during finals. I am also grateful, beyond grateful, for the friends that I have made throughout first year. I wouldn't have survived without you all.
Jackson Carey from Follinsby, West Virginia.
Although this was the most difficult academic year of my life, the support of my family and friends, both old and new, really got me through it. I'd like to give a special thank you to my mom, Lynn, and my girlfriend, Hannah, for all that they've done and continue to do for me.
Casey Ramirez Cortez from Bracy, Virginia.
She says, I would like to thank my friends and family, but especially my husband, for helping me get through this stressful but wonderful first year.
I'm Josh Cortese from Mesa, Arizona.
I would like to thank my family and my girlfriend for their unwavering support this year, and the Burling family for including me in their family occasions. They must be loud family occasions.
I'm Sean Cushman. I'm from Midland, Michigan.
Sean writes, thank you to my family and friends who helped me get through this year, for the most part, unscathed. I couldn't have done it without them.
Ben Ciphers from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ben writes, I couldn't have made it here without my incredibly supportive family and friends. I'm pretty sure they're mostly in it for the free eyeglasses down the road, but I'm grateful nonetheless.
I'm Jessica Deluca, and I'm also from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Jessica was assisted by her father, Dr. Matthew Deluca, and she would like to thank her friends and family for all of the support they've given her. She would not be where she is today without them. She is also so thankful for the constant supply of snacks her student loans provided during the endless hours of class.
I'm Danica Downard from Winchester, Ohio.
Danica writes, I am so grateful for the family and friends who have supported me on my journey. I could not have done it without them.
Jamie Etterling from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Jamie writes, after a year of challenging courses, long hours at the library, continued support from my friends and family, and learning about all sorts of eye diseases, I am proud to say I have finally stopped sleeping in my contact lenses.
Nicola Evans from Lima, Ohio.
Nicolette writes, I would like to thank my ever-supporting family and boyfriend for their continual support and reminding me that everything will be okay. This past year has been one of the most rewarding and challenging experiences of my life. I am thankful for the friendships and supportive optometry family I have here at OSU. Lastly, I thank Brugger's Bagels for their bottomless coffee mug to help further my coffee addiction and provide stimulation to study after long days in class.
I'm Alicia Ferrari from Bridgeport, West Virginia.
Alicia writes, I would like to thank my mom for everything she has done to help me get here, including the almost daily pictures of our dog that she texted me. To my new friends and classmates, I am so grateful to have met you and couldn't have done it without you all.
I'm Sid Fagulis, and I'm from Westerville, Ohio.
And Sid was assisted by his mother, Dr. Maria Fragulis, and his sister, Evangelia Fragulis, who's been an optometrist for 6 days. He writes, biggest thank you to all of my family and, of course, the great people in my class that have helped me to a great start in my 4-year optometry journey. As OSU optometry alumni, my mom and sister have set the bar high, but let's hope there's room for another Dr. Fragulis in the future.
Lacey Garvin from Elwood City, Pennsylvania.
Lacey writes, this first year I have gained much appreciation for coffee, girls' nights with classmates who have become my best friends, and phone calls and visits with the best family and friends a person could have. A huge thank you to my parents for all of their support. I wouldn't be here without you.
I'm Paul Grigsby from Seattle, Washington.
Paul writes, I'd like to thank my family, friends, and girlfriend for their support throughout the year. Also, Ohio, if you could make up your mind about whether it's freezing cold or blazing hot by next year, it would be much appreciated.
Hi, Rachel Groff from Chandler, Arizona.
Rachel writes, I want to thank my older brother, who's been my #1 role model since leaving the womb, my dad for reminding me that a day without laughter is a day wasted, and my mom, who has been my rock through this roller coaster of a year. But hey, who doesn't love roller coasters?
Katie Hamrock from Columbus, Ohio.
Katie would like to thank her family for always supporting her and helping her to get to where she is today. And she also writes, and to my puppy O'Malley, who has given me endless puppy snuggles when I'm stressed.
I'm Jay Hasuna from Dublin, Ohio.
Jay writes, our successes are not ours alone, and I'd like to thank my amazing classmates and my parents, Sam and Raina Hasuna, for their support. We have all made it here together.
Brandon Holman, I'm from Napoleon, Ohio.
Brandon writes, I would just like to thank my family for all their support and encouragement, not only through this year, but all through my life, along with coming to visit me multiple times and restocking my fridge, mostly with chicken, of course. I would also like to thank my classmates, upperclassmen, and all the faculty for making this year a great start to the profession of optometry.
Austin Hood, Bloomville, Ohio.
Austin writes, this has been a fulfilling but laborious year, and I am thankful for the support of my family and friends.
I'm Maddie Howland from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Maddie writes, I'd like to thank my wonderful parents and my sisters Claire and Charlotte for their love and support. I'm also grateful to my friends for keeping me sane and happy, and to my professors for putting up with the constant barrage of questions from the upper right corner of 22 Fry.
Lindsay Hutchinson from Ashland, Kentucky.
Lindsay writes, I want to thank my husband, family, and friends for their support, love, and encouragement over the past year. Also, I am extremely thankful that the welcome dinner nickname Glitter Girl didn't stick. Later.
I'm Alex Junglis. I'm from Russell, Ohio.
And Alex was assisted by his grandfather, Dr. Robert Kreisler. I would like to thank my family and friends, especially my parents, my girlfriend Julianne, and my grandfather for their love and support and for always encouraging me to follow my dreams.
Zachary Kazee, West Lafayette, Ohio.
Zachary writes, I want to thank my family, friends, and fellow classmates for their endless support through this past year. I wouldn't have survived without it. I also want to send a big thank you to Dr. Early, Dr. Pierce, and Jen Bennett, who must have made a mistake on interview day, but decided to allow me to participate in the program anyway.
Thank you.
Megan Kiefer, Menominee, Wisconsin.
Megan writes, many thanks to my family and Robert for their never-ending love, support, and Starbucks gift cards. I am lucky to have such a strong team cheering me on through this adventure. An additional thanks to Becky and Lauren for being wonderful roommates and study partners, as well as my first new friends in Ohio.
I'm Alex Lamborghese from Westlake, Ohio.
Alex writes, I would like to thank my family and fellow classmates for always supporting me and for providing me the encouragement to get through first year. I would also like to give a special thanks to the Canes on High Street for all of the delicious chicken tenders and sweet teas that got me through the tough days and long nights.
Cody Licurgo from Powell, Ohio.
Cody writes, I wouldn't be here today without the love and support of my parents, Brian and Karen Licurgo, who live nearby and would drop anything to help me on this journey and have encouraged me from day one. And to my Aunt Deborah, who also lives close enough to supply food, comedic relief, encouragement, and occasionally bad advice. There must be a story there. I've formed great friendships this year, and I'm grateful to have them for the long study nights, which are made possible by all of the nearby coffee shops and Jimmy John's delivery.
My name's Chris Lejean. I'm from Salina, Ohio.
Chris writes, I'd like to say a big thank you to my family for supporting me to this point and setting me up for the success I've achieved thus far. They, along with a little help from Starbucks coffee, have played a huge role in helping me get where I am today.
Becky Leifer from Shelby, Ohio.
Becky would like to thank her family and especially her parents for all of their support. She appreciates everything they have done to help her achieve her goals.
Frankie Lister, Tempe, Arizona.
Frankie writes, first and foremost, I would like to thank God because I wouldn't be here today without him. I would also like to thank all my family, friends, and professors who have supported me and are constantly pushing me to be the best person I can be.
Ryan Loney from Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio.
Ryan wants you to know, I can't thank my family enough for supporting me. I wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for them.
Kelly Lutmer from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Kelly writes, I would like to thank my friends, both new and old, for their constant encouragement throughout this new and challenging year. I would also like to thank my family for always providing unconditional love and support, as well as an environment that fostered my love of learning. God bless and go Bucks.
John McKinney, Toledo, Ohio.
So before I read what John wrote, love the tie. Matches the guitar strap. I love it. John writes, I would like to thank my mother, grandmother, and sisters for all their endless support throughout this rigorous yet rewarding first year. I would also like to give a big shout out to my son, Eli, for providing me with the necessary purpose and passion to continue to pursue my dream of becoming an optometrist.
Dina Mubarak from Columbus, Ohio.
Dina writes, I would like to thank my family for getting me through this challenging yet successful year, especially my sister Alam for always being there for me with her positive words of encouragement.
Taylor Norris, Bemis Point, New York.
Taylor writes, I wouldn't be here today without my amazing support system. Thank you to my parents for everything you have done to allow me to chase my dreams, Ashlyn for paving the way and being the absolute best role model, Riley for your unconditional love, even from 334 miles away, and my roommates for always keeping me laughing and making sure I actually eat 3 meals a day. I am forever thankful for you all.
Sarah Pace from Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania.
Sarah writes, I would like to express my deepest gratitude and love to my parents, John and Donna Pace, for helping me along this journey and for giving me the values and tools to live out my dream. Thank you as well to all my friends and peers for making this year one I won't forget.
Jairus Pendleton from Mason, Ohio.
Jairus writes, this past year has been the most challenging yet rewarding year of my life. I have studied more hours than I have slept and stress-eaten more than I probably should have. Special thanks to my family, my close friends, and the class of 2021 for getting me to where I am today.
Aditha Reddy, also from Mason, Ohio.
Aditha writes, I'd like to thank my incredible parents for doing so much to make this year easier for me, my friends for showing me the balance between studying hard and having fun, and Taylor Swift for helping me shake it off when life got stressful.
Emily Ratu from Dublin, Ohio.
Emily would like to thank her family for always being supportive, especially her mom, who puts up with her frantic phone calls. She would also like to thank the dogs for winning the SEC championship, which gave her the energy to make it through her first semester.
My name is Lisa Reyes. I'm from Spencer, Iowa, and Littleton, Colorado.
Lisa writes, making it through this first year of optometry school was a family effort. The grace and support my husband and daughter provided were beyond measure.
Veronica Schufer from Lakewood, Ohio.
Veronica writes,
New York,
sorry. Veronica writes, see how quickly we just convert them fast. Veronica writes, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I am so blessed to be surrounded by people who champion for my success. Thank you to my family and friends who have helped me to this moment.
Patrick Shepard. I'm from Parma Heights, Ohio.
Patrick was assisted by his uncle, Dr. Ronald Jursak, and Patrick writes, this year has been grueling but enjoyable, and I know I wouldn't have made it through it without the love and support from my parents and family, encouragement from our teachers, and the pure luck of having been placed in Dr. Muty's socialized group.
I'm Jacob Shipton from Rigby, Idaho.
Jacob writes, I need to thank my beautiful wife, Kelsey, for working as an ophthalmic technician and bringing home the bacon, even if she annoyingly believes to know more about eyes than I do.
I'm Michael Sinopoli from Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Michael writes, he was assisted by his mother, Dr. Kathleen Cleary, and he writes, I would never be in the situation that I am in if it wasn't for my loving parents, great friends, and most importantly, Tom Brady. So I'd like to thank you all, and go Pats.
Jordan Spees from Bryan, Ohio.
Jordan writes, I could not have made it through the year without my parents' support, whether it be my mom's homemade cooking or my dad's hunting and fishing stories he got to rub in my face over the phone. I was constantly reminded why they are the most influential people in my life. Just as important, though, I'd like to thank my classmates for always having my back, from getting me in the school to study to getting me out to Bullwinkle's to unwind and watch the shark do some breakdancing for all of us. Thanks, and let's keep making some great memories these next 3 years.
Lauren Stevens from Johnston, Iowa.
Lauren would like to thank her friends and family for all of their support throughout this last year. She could not have been successful without them. She would also like to give a shout out to Starbucks iced coffees for giving her the strength to study, and of course a huge thank you to the great state of Iowa. Without it and all of its corn, she wouldn't be where she is today.
Emma Stewart Bates from Moreland Hills, Ohio.
Emma writes, I owe thanks to my parents for the endless support, to my dad for introducing me to optometry, and to my boyfriend for accompanying me on many trips for UDF milkshakes.
Mitchell Stasinski from Normal, Illinois.
Mitchell writes, I want to thank my family and friends for their incredible and unconditional love and support that has allowed me to get to this point in my life. Additionally, I want to thank them in advance for volunteering this summer to help me practice with my equipment.
I'm Kirsten Sullivan, and I'm from Doniphan, Nebraska.
Kirsten writes, I'd like to thank my mom, Chris, Sky, and Ryan for their constant support and for always believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. I couldn't have made it through first year without them. And of course, the gas station fountain pops just down the street.
Preston Summerhays from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Preston writes, I'd like to thank my sweet, beautiful wife for her unfailing support, the eternal Ohio winter for keeping me inside studying, and the Utah Jazz for providing a much-needed distraction from studying.
My name is Erlene Takis, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Erlene writes, I am immensely grateful to my family and friends who remind me to trust God, be kind to all, and rest knowing that I did my best. And thank you to my classmates for tolerating the sounds of clinking silverware and smells of my frequent meals and snacks during class.
My name is Emma Thompson, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Emma writes, I want to thank my mom and dad for shaping me into the woman I am today, as well as for the numerous Snapchats of my dogs whenever I was stressed. I also want to thank my roommates for teaching me to be a better student and friend, and Tyler for the constant encouragement and love. I could not have done this without all of you.
Elizabeth Treby, Homer Glen, Illinois.
Elizabeth writes, after this first year, I'd like to thank my fiance for constantly saving me from studying psychosis and bringing me back to reality when needed, while simultaneously taking care of all my impulsively bought pets. He has worked just as hard as I have this year, and I couldn't have done it without him.
Sarah Wagner from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Sarah writes, I would like to thank my family and friends for all of their love and support. I would also like to thank Mountain Dew Kickstart for keeping me awake long enough to make it to this point.
Adele Walters from Naples, Florida.
Adele writes, I would like to thank my cat, Luna, for helping me get through this year with all of her love and cuddles, even if most of them were forced. Oh, I should also thank my husband and family for all of their support too. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
I'm Emily Weekland. I'm from Grand Island, Nebraska.
Emily writes, I would like to thank my friends and family for their support this year.
Devin Weber, Green, Ohio.
Devin writes, I would like to thank the first-year faculty, all of the members of the Castle on King, and most importantly, my parents, Dennis and Kathy, for their continual support and encouragement.
Lauren Weisgarber from Bolivar, Ohio.
She writes, I can't believe how fast this year has gone, and I can't wait for what's to come. Thank you to my family for their unfailing love and support. Okay, class of 21, you did it. Doctors Muty and Early. The coats are all gone. That's always a good thing, and each one has one. Now, class of 2021, turn around and thank all those folks for all that love and support. So I'm trying to think. I heard Mountain Dew, I heard Cane's, Starbucks. Some of you may know, your students may have told you that we're actually in the process of designing and ultimately building a new clinic building at about a block away from where the college is now. And I think I had to put a franchise in there, you know? And it turns out it might be a Starbucks, although Dr. Early wants a Dunkin', so I don't know how that's all gonna work out. But thank you all very much for joining us today. That leaves us another speaker who's going to represent the class this time. So we heard advice about laundry and about engagement, and that gives me great pleasure to introduce the president of the class, Emma Thompson. Emma has served the class well and is also a talented artist and won, I got to give a Dean's Award at the Medicine in the Arts art show that was over in the College of Medicine not too long ago, and I walked by and Emma's piece was gigantic eyeballs that looked like planets. I didn't look at another piece in the art show and slammed that ribbon right on there. So Emma, join me at the podium, please.
In the fall, I remember many of us being jealous that our friends at other optometry, dental, and medical schools throughout the country were already getting their white coats. Looking back, I'm actually glad that we didn't have our white coat ceremony in the fall. Don't get me wrong, the path to optometry school was very difficult, but I don't think it was anything compared to this challenging first year. Had we had our white coat ceremony in the fall, we would not have deserved it like we do today. It's amazing to think how far we've come in only a few months. I can't believe it's already been over a year since our interview day. I remember nervously waiting to go into the terrifying interview room with Dr. Early, Jen, and Dr. Lai. When I'm nervous, I do some pretty embarrassing things. Dr. Early, I would like to take this opportunity to apologize for hugging you on interview day. That was pretty awkward, but I just could not contain my excitement. I knew that I wanted to make the Ohio State University College of Optometry my home for the next 4 years. A few months later, we started classes. Little did we know that we were going to work harder this year than we ever had before. We survived that awful histology practical, that one optics quiz that took everyone approximately 30 hours to finish, and most importantly, the most terrible finals week of all time twice. We have gained some important knowledge, such as the meaning of voof-voople and which side of the skull to drill into if we're ever stranded on a desert island and our friend happens to fracture their pterion. When we started optometry school, we barely even knew what astigmatism was. Now words like orbicularis oculi, torticollis, Javal's rule, strabismus, and Schlemm's canal all seem so basic that they're practically part of our everyday vocabulary. Even though this year was incredibly challenging, it was also filled with fun memories that we will keep with us for many years. I will never forget our heartwarming Valentine's Day gift exchange, or the day we all dressed up in ugly Christmas sweaters. Our class intramural team, the Eyeballers, even won their championship game this semester. When we needed a pick-me-up during our last week of finals, we used the class group chat to send each other photos of our dogs and cats back home. Our class has done a fantastic job of supporting each other and making all this year fun and exciting. All of these accomplishments we've achieved this year would not be possible if it were not for the help of some very important people. I want to take this opportunity to thank our professors. They are some of the most hardworking and dedicated individuals I've ever had the pleasure of working with. They care so much about us, and they care so deeply that we learn the information from their classes to the fullest extent possible. This became very obvious during Keystone when they grilled us about practically every single point we've ever learned this year. I know that when they're hard on us, they're pushing us to be the best future optometrists that we can be. We truly could not have done this year without them. I would also like to thank our friends and families. Optometry school would not be possible if it were not for a fantastic support system at home. I want to apologize for all of the times that we could not go home for the weekend or talk on the phone because of school. And I want to thank you for staying by our sides when things got tough. We appreciate all of the times you helped listen to us complain about studying our schoolwork and all the times you reassured us that we were not going to fail our exam, even though studying for it seemed nearly impossible. The white coat we've received today is a symbol of professionalism and knowledge. We have earned this coat, and I have never been more proud of us. Thanks to the Ohio State College of Optometry, I know that we are prepared for the next 4 years and the next step in our journey. I'm excited to start learning how to give an eye exam in the fall, but for today, I'm just happy to celebrate the first huge milestone in becoming an eye doctor. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Emma. That was a lovely summary. So thanks to all of you for joining us today. The Ohio State University College of Optometry is known throughout the country for excellence, achievement, and leadership, as you've seen already today. We have developed a novel leadership program for these students and those that follow them so that Ohio State becomes known as the place that makes you a leader in your profession and your community. That kind of legacy and recognition is where these students are headed. The college is in its 104th year, and our reputation for excellence is alive and well, thanks in no small part to your students, your people, that we've just white-coated. As you congratulate these students in a few minutes, think of the hard work and high achievement ahead of them. They will excel with the continued support of each other, the faculty, the staff, and with even more love and encouragement from all of you. Hopefully that support will include an appointment for each of you in the eye clinic next spring as they perform full eye examinations on real people. That will be the start of a lifetime of free eye care for all of you. So no Ohio State event can possibly be complete without us doing some kind of spelling with our arms. So please follow the students' lead and welcome Bad Habits back to the stage for Ohio State's official rock song, Hang On Sloopy. Maybe only I have a shaker. Oh, here come their shakers. We can't start till they get their shakers.
That's right, the official Eye Docs of Rock egg shaker.
You know, I have these all over my house.
You know, before we start, I was backstage and I was checking our pants out, and I noticed that mine are so much more bright and clean than Dr. Fenton's. His are a little faded and worn. I'm wondering why, and I realized, you know, I wear these once a year at this show, and like Dr. Fenton wears them like every week. Do you see patients? Do you wear them to clinic?
Absolutely. My patients know I'm a little crazy anyway, so this is not abnormal for my practice. Why?
I just wondering. Dr. Dollarmere, do you wear yours to clinic?
No.
Well, obviously we've got the true Buckeye here in the house, Dr. Fenton. I believe, should we have him start the next song? I want to hear him sing. Who wants to hear Dr. Fenton sing what?
You guys have your shakers? All right, this song's dedicated to you. You've probably heard it already a bunch of times this first year, but you're going to sing it with me right now. And for Buckeye Bob, too. Sing with me, Buckeye Bob.
Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on.
H-I-O.
Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on.
H-I-O.
Sloopy lives in a very bad part of town. Everybody there tries to put my Sloopy down. Sloopy, I don't care what your daddy do, 'cause you know, Sloopy girl, I'm in love with you. That's why I'm singing, hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on.
H-I-O.
Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on.
H-I-O.
Sounds silly.
Sloopy,
geography.
let your hair down, girl. Let it hang down on me. Ooh. Sloopy, let your hair down, girl. Let it hang down on me. Yeah. Come on, Sloopy.
Come on, come on.
Come on, Sloopy.
Come on, come on.
I say now, come on, Sloopy.
Come on, come on.
I say now, come on, Sloopy.
Come on, come on.
So good.
Come on, come on.
You know it feels alright.
Come on, come on.
Now shake it, Sloopy.
Come on, come on.
And shake it all night.
Come on, come on.
Hang on, Sloopy. Sloopy, hang on.
O-H-I-O.
Hang on, Sloopy. Sloopy, hang on.
O-H-I-O.
Hang on, Sloopy. Sloopy, hang on. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. So those pants, I might need a pair. Okay. Now, as is our other custom at Ohio State events, if you would please stand and join our Director of Admissions, Recruitment, and Financial Aid, who is very well known to these students, Justin Greist, in the singing of our alma mater, Carmen, Ohio. I-O.
Oh, come, let's sing Ohio's praise with songs to alma mater raise, while our hearts rebounding thrill with joy which death alone can still. Summer's heat or winter's cold, the seasons pass, the years will roll. Time and change will surely show how firm thy friendship, Ohio. O-H!
Students, please remain standing. We're going to do a photograph right here, right, Jay? And if the rest of you could just please stay in your seats until the students have exited, then you can join them out in the lobby for hugs and to inspect that white coat for lots of photos and lots of hugs. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon.